But such is life. Life is such.
This too shall pass.
It ain't got no motherfucking choice because I'll leave a bitch in a second. Nigga, job. Bitch,
What she said.
Gotta go.
it ain't even baby. It's gotta go.
What
Find
she
somebody
said.
else to do it.
Get some fucking body else. Get some fucking body else.
That's so funny. You like almost fed up because I was fed up this week, and last week we talked about that ghetto ass nonprofit, and I said to them, "Yeah, this is not what I signed up for, so I'm done."
Get somebody else to do it.
Find somebody
Find some
else.
fucking body else.
No, ma'am. No.
Nope.
No, we're not doing
It's
this.
not what we discussed.
This is not.
Okay, this is not in the contract.
That's exactly what I said.
This is not my scope of work.
No, this is beyond my scope of work.
Okay.
This is exactly what was my final straw. My final straw was I went on site and they were complaining about an employee. They were complaining about the employee, and I said, okay, let's talk to this employee. Let's, make them aware, blah, blah, blah. So I talked to the employee, had a very difficult conversation with the employee. All is well. Made everything great. Told the COO, had a great conversation. I think expectations have been laid out going forward, blah, blah, blah. Oh, amazing. I love that you did that. All right. Well, now I want them to move. Since they did this, there are people that do much more work than she does. She needs to go to a smaller office. I said, what? Oh, she doesn't do much, so she can go in the smaller office. I'm like, she's like, yeah, and I let's do this today. And I said, yeah, no. No. I said, because that's going to look like retaliation, right? You just had me have this really like a laundry list of wrongdoings that, this woman has done. And granted, she's an older woman and, she's just a little set in her ways and stuff. But I was like, it seems like retaliation. And as your advisor, I'm going to say, no, let's not do that. Shouldn't have said this, but I'm like, we can wait, right? Like, let's see how she performs and stuff, and let that be something separate. Let's wait a few weeks. If you really feel adamant about her moving, let's wait a few weeks. Let's even wait a month, and let's have a plan. Like, hey, you're about to hire someone new. You want them to switch offices, like shit like that. She's like, okay. The next morning, I get an email from her assistant. Hey, just want to let you know that we moved such and such office, and now she sits in the back in a closet. Like it's a closet that they turned into an office. Why are you laughing? Don't laugh that shit.
Because that is so unprofessional, and I was so stupid, motherfuckers, if I was her.
Girl.
Like, y'all put me in the motherfucking washroom. We ain't doing this shit.
I ain't signed up for this. What? I'm not. I said, okay, thank you for letting me know. So I was gone for a week, out of touch with the world. And I get back and found out they fired her. Yeah. Saying she created a hostile work environment. And that
she created a hostile work environment? Really?
Girl. So I said, you know what? Not to even explain, like, at first I was going to go in there and explain, like you just said, like, she created a hostile work environment. No, bitch, you did. And I said, you know what? I'm not going to do that.
And this is very reminiscent of, this is very retaliatory. Like,
yeah,
you can't dress it up. Even if the intention or your essence wasn't retaliation, or even if this person really was not performing, the way you went about this does not scream like there's a true, real performance issue.
It wasn't.
It's like you're just wanting to get this person out, which fine, but that's not. There's a way that you have to go about doing this shit to avoid liability and people suing your ass. The fuck?
That part. So yeah, I was just like, you know what? Instead of going in here and telling you all what you did wrong, I'm gonna just bow out because I already see the dynamics, and
And
just
clearly
see.
you're not receptive to it because I done told you what
No,
to do and how to advise
no,
you and where to go, and you're still not
exactly,
doing it. You did
exactly.
everything that I told you to do. You literally went and did the
Yeah,
opposite.
and don't, and especially as like a COO, your word is your bond. So if we shake hands and agree on a plan and a strategy,
Right.
I need you to adhere to that. And if you decide to deviate from that plan or strategy, give me the
A
professional
courtesy. Yeah.
courtesy to say this is what I'm thinking about and
Right.
this is what I want to do. And whether you're on board or not, I'm going to do it. I would have
Right.
even, I'm like, okay, whatever. Like, but to shake hands and you told me yes to my face, but and this woman, she see, this is when I first met her, she was a true bitch to me. But let me tell you how I broke the ice, child. So we were all like they were introducing me to everybody, and she tells me, yeah, I'm on my third husband. No, she said I've been divorced 3 times and I'm only 58. And I was like, and and she looked like her eyes got big. I was just like, like in total disgust, bitch. Like, you've been divorced 3 times and you're only 58. Like, girl, I
You
wouldn't say
shouldn't
that
tell
out
people
loud.
that.
I
You
wouldn't
shouldn't tell people that.
say that shit out
There's
loud,
a
bitch.
list of shit you just shouldn't tell people. I
Because
mean,
it's you,
it could
bitch.
happen. It can happen. I mean, you could be your husband number 10, bitch. But you shouldn't tell you. That's nothing to be proud of. To walk around here and that be your opening statement. Like, that is your claim to fame.
Was that her icebreaker?
Yeah,
Like it was an accomplishment.
like I'm judging, and I don't judge, but I'm judging. Like, especially because how you acted now, like, no. And I think,
Oh, I also feel like, why do I need to know this?
When did she get married? At 18?
exactly. I don't know. I
She
would
probably
have
went through.
loved to go down and dissect that timeline. I would have loved it because she did say she went in another conversation. She said, "Yeah, my husband. I was married to him for 10 years." So I'm like, okay.
Okay.
They all
Yeah,
could have got 10 years apiece. I mean,
that's
she's not a
true.
spring chicken, but and once again I say there's nothing wrong with that. It's just not what you share. Like, you don't share no shit like that.
At least not at work.
No, and I mean, we're talking about work, so I mean,
Yeah.
you don't share no
It's not
shit
at
like
work.
that. Like, you could tell your girlfriends could know that, or that. I don't care. I don't care to know that about you. You get,
And
like,
I think that's my problem at work now. People don't like, I don't share my personal business with people.
no.
Because I've done that in the past and it's been used against me and said in settings where it shouldn't be said. Like, bitch, we were having kitchen table talk on a Saturday at brunch. Like, what are you doing? Bringing this shit back to work? Like,
Yeah.
Anywho.
You could have said to her, I see why you're so inconsistent with your staff, because you can't really nail down a man. So you just inconsistent in life. Now, no wonder you put that bitch in the closet. You got issues.
Clearly.
I mean, if it's a cat, it's a cat. That bitch is a cat.
And a UFO is a UFO,
girl. What is happening?
Nothing.
In the beginning of this episode.
All right, let's get to this show.
Oh, Lord.
You're tuned in to season 4 of Catch My Black and Gay podcast.
Where being black and gay is definitely okay.
This podcast was created to give African American gay men an outlet to express, debate, and give our opinion on today's pop culture, political, and life views.
Anywho, Anywho, sorry. Hey guys, you're tuned in to Catch My Black and Gay podcast, where being black and gay is definitely okay. I am your boy Jay Ranger. Let me stop. No, I am your boy Jay. Why is somebody?
I guess we're doing porn now.
I'm your boy Jay, and I have my amazing co-host with me, Chef Vaughn,
Wagwan.
Torian.
What's up? What's up?
Catch your breath. I don't even have my asthma pump in the room with me, but
Oh my gosh. Okay.
oh Lord. All right, laugh now, cry later. So
Okay, Power Ranger.
oh, I can't wait till the new Power Ranger movie come out on Netflix. Oh my god, I'm gonna watch it. So nostalgic. Shut up, Tom.
Shut up.
Anywho.
Shut up. Oh my gosh. Okay. Yes, Jay Ranger.
Y'all are crazy.
Where the fuck did that come from? Bitch, where did that come from?
This porn name.
Where the fuck did Jay Ranger come from?
That's my new name. I was testing it out on you guys.
Where the fuck?
That's my new name. That's what I'm going by, Jay Ranger. But I'm gonna still go by Jay on this podcast. But what? Is
it one name or two?
It's Jay and then Ranger.
Tori's making me laugh, and I'm gonna have a headache. I can't do this and do what we gotta do tonight. Like, we have shit to do. I can't do this. I can't. So it's two words.
It's a letter and a word.
Oh, okay. Oh,
J.
JR.
What?
I can't. Give me a second.
Y'all bitches.
Bitch, how did you come up? Bitch, how did you come up with that?
Mind your business.
Oh, bitch. Oh, fuck. Oh. Okay. Okay.
Y'all good?
The story was he was on Pornhub one day, and a thought came to him. Like, you know what?
Y'all crazy.
Oh my gosh. Not Jay Ranger. Yes, Jay Ranger. Okay, Jay Ranger. What's up? Ooh, bitch.
We definitely can't start the episode like this at all.
This is not the conversation.
Let's get it together.
We're prolonging the laughter because
we always
want to talk about this.
We always just dumb shit, but let's jump in.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So listen, we did not want to do this topic, but I felt like we needed to because we've never really covered any mass shootings on the podcast. And as you all know, last week the country was hit by another mass shooter, this time in Nashville, Tennessee. Claimed the lives of, how many people was it? Six people. Three children. Three children and 3 adults. The shooter's name was Audrey Hay.
Can we not give her a name? Can we not name her?
All right. But I found it. This story is interesting, and it's sad. Okay, first of all, it's sad. But one, I wanted to just talk about you all's opinion. And I don't want to talk about the shooting because you all can Google it. You all can, you guys know the details. So you don't need us giving opinions on the actual shooting. I will say that I did watch the video, and as heartbreaking as it was, um, the police officers there really they kicked the fuck up, bitch. Like what those police officers did, that what is it called, Uvalde, you whatever, that last mass shooting in Texas where the cops were scared and they waited outside 30 minutes before entering in and all. No, if y'all see the video, Officer Tom whatever his name, he got out that motherfucking car, didn't even hesitate. He said, "Let's go." Let's go. Like he didn't have sergeant by his name. He didn't have lieutenant. I don't even think he's like a ranking officer. I don't know. But he got out that motherfucking that car, and they kicked the fuck up. They was like, clear, shot that bitch down. Now I will say, I did need a social media break because in the video you see it blurred out. You see a body with appear to be a child's body laying on the floor, and they walked right over the body because the person was shooting. So shout out to them. I know we give police officers a lot of crap, but do want to recognize good when it's done. So I wanted to bring this topic to the podcast because I did want to talk about gun laws, and I also want to talk about how the media is treating this and how now there is an attack. To me, just reading some of the headlines, I feel like there's an attack on the LGBTQIA community. When I think the U.S. has had 128 or 130 mass shootings this year alone. I think, what is that? That's maybe one shooting a day. Like it averages out to be. We're only in March, April. Some of the headlines I read was transgender woman or transgender man kills 6. And to my knowledge, this is the first person that is a part of the LGBTQIA or identifies as transgender that has been, the actual shooter in a mass shooting. And that headline kind of struck me, right? Because now you have dumbass Candace Owens talking about transgender people that identify as transgender, they have mental issues, they need to be, whatever. It's just an all out, like, what the fuck? And I don't know. I'll stop talking. What are you guys' thoughts?
So I want to. So tackling the Second Amendment right first, right,
Mm-hmm.
which is the right to bear arms. I mean, I think my problem is this: that we, especially conservatives and Republicans, often hang their hats on this amendment, right? They put so much emphasis on freedom of speech and the right to bear arms, right? And I think the reality is, we are no longer in the days of the Wild Wild West in which, it was common practice for folks to walk around with guns on their hips. You know what I mean? And like just defending themselves through that means. I think the other thing is to keep in mind that, when we talk about the Second Amendment really, in its original form and state, was really about building militias, right? And so that how militias are able to arm themselves to prevent like the need for an army. a U.S. Army, right? Like that was the intent of it, and so it's like we have that original intent, which most Republicans call themselves originalists, which is like taking the Constitution at its original written form and using that to implement, all of these things and interpret laws and all of these, everything in that context. It's like you say that, but then you do shit like, don't want to put restrictions on guns, and you don't want to do like universal background checks, like common sense fucking restrictions. No one in America can drive a fucking car without a driver's license, because we understand how dangerous driving a car can be if you don't know how to drive it properly. And so it's like we've put all of these restrictions on other shit. We put all these restrictions on voting. We put all of these restrictions on things that actually can benefit and is actually like the fabric of who we are as people and as a democracy. But yet we sit here and allow this shit. Don't put no restrictions on gun laws. Like we literally want to be lackadaisical about who has the ability to gain access to a fucking gun. And that's my problem. It's that, like, you want to get a gun. I'm all here for people going to get guns and like protecting themselves or their loved ones and all of that. I'm here for that. I support that. I also believe wholeheartedly that people who are differently able, should not necessarily be carrying guns or shouldn't have access to guns. The same way we don't want kids having access to guns, right? Certain people just should not have access to guns. And so that's my challenge, right? And so for me, it's just like, all this shit is senseless. And this is a part of why I don't want to, like, I struggle with having these conversations, is just that it's tiring, because literally we could be having this conversation once a month because in this fucking country, or every day. You know what I mean?
To the stats. But
this shit is just ridiculous.
I do want to say that your statement can be a little bit problematic. Use your words with, differently able. I think it's depending how you're differently abled.
Well, yeah, of course. I'm not saying that everyone differently able.
I want to add that because you didn't say that. Sorry. I just wanted to add that caveat. I'm sorry.
Okay. Okay. I thought I was being clear in saying that, and you said I wasn't. Okay, fine. I'm good with that clarity. But I'm not saying that just because you're differently able that you can't get a gun. I'm saying certain people who are differently able should not be getting a gun. You shouldn't.
Agreed. And I think
if you have mental health challenges, you shouldn't be getting a gun. Like you shouldn't have access to a gun. And the fact that you can go online right now, you can go online and order a fucking gun depending on the state that you're in, without an ID, without, any of that other stuff. Like that's ridiculous. Literally, the fact that states like Georgia are open carry states where you can walk around with a gun visible. Or tucked away without having any type of registration on it. Nothing. No practice, no registration, nothing. You can walk around right now in Georgia. Georgia currently is a open carry state. No restrictions.
And I think Delaware is the same way, right? Like I remember when the pandemic first started and all of the crime started to rise. I was living in Philly. And so many people crossed the state line to go to Delaware because all you needed was an ID to buy a rifle. And, people thought when the pandemic first happened, the purge was about to happen, child. But yeah, no, and I agree. I think this shooter was on some type of antipsychotic or psychotic meds. And able to legally purchase all of the firearms they had that they used in the shooting. So, and I think it
currently.
Sorry,
go ahead. I was just gonna say. Go ahead. I was just gonna say that currently 38 states allow open carry. 38 states.
I don't mind the open carry. I mind, like, because I know that one of those states, forget which one it is, but they have open carry, but you have to do a lot to get that type of access. Um, yeah. Is New Jersey one of them?
No.
Okay.
No.
No, well, I know New Jersey. New Jersey
You
has
can't even have a damn stun gun in Jersey.
no. I mean, I know a lot of people in New Jersey that have guns, right? Legally, and I will commend New Jersey on what they do. It is a process. They
Mhm.
assign you a detective. They also assign you, like, you got to go through a psyche valve. You have to do
Hmm.
a whole
Mhm.
bunch of stuff. And I see, and that's, I think if we're going to do, open carry and, be loose with these guns, well, not be
It has to
loose.
be accountability.
It has to be some accountability, and it has to be, it's just, I just can't believe that these lawmakers don't see where there needs to be change, Um,
because
but
it benefits them and it gets them votes. Like
yeah.
Torian said, the whole purpose of the Second Amendment really is to protect oneself against government. Is not really to, go around shooting innocent people.
Hmm.
And I hate that this woman gives mental health such a bad look. I feel like that needs to be said because I feel like that's kind of a cop out to always say, well, it's mental health, it's mental health, it's
Yeah.
mental health.
Even though they are a dumb stone cold bitch and deserve to die, I don't want to misgender anyone.
I said her.
I don't think those were their pronouns.
Oh, what they have they pronouns?
I this
It
was
was. I mean, it was a bit confusing because originally you said it was trans woman or trans man is what you said
He said trans
initially.
woman. He said trans
I said
woman.
But
both.
then he changed. He said both.
Oh,
He said
okay.
trans man. He said trans woman first, and then he said trans man.
Sorry.
Okay, well, I don't want to. I don't want to
That's why I keep saying they. 'Cause
I don't want to misgender anyone, and
Yeah.
it goes so much deeper
Right.
than that. Like, I don't want to hang
Yeah.
up, get hung up on that. Like, him, her, they. I'm sorry if I'm misgendering it, but my thing is, they're giving mental
Not
health.
transgendering it.
Find somebody else to do this shit. I'm not doing this tonight. I'm done. I'm done. That ruined anything I had to fucking say. I honestly, I'm done. I'm over it. I'm over it.
Lord help.
Jesus, take the wheel. Fix it, Jesus. You know what? Rest in peace, the 6 people that had to lose their lives over this. Mental health is very important. Part of mental health is being self-aware. And I don't want to blame it on mental health with her because she had a whole conversation with a friend the day before that says you're gonna remember me, you're gonna know my name, you're gonna. So
I think
it's
that's
like
a part of the mental health part, but
you knew what the hell you were doing.
We call that premeditated, bitch. That is
Yes,
called
like
premeditation.
that's not mental health. Mental health is like, okay, I could not control myself. I didn't know what I was.
true. That's not true.
I think there's a spectrum of mental health facts. However, it is premeditated. The fact that
Yes,
this person
yes.
talked about beforehand, that I'm gonna be famous. You're gonna know my name. You're gonna like all of that kind of stuff. Now, and I don't. Again, I didn't read this story. I didn't watch this story. I feel sad for. I did see that the folks who were killed was 3 young people and 3 adults. I saw
Mhm.
that is the extent of what I saw because
Mhm.
again, I choose not to dive deep into these situations because these things are triggering, and for my own mental health, I don't want to become desensitized to death or desensitized to these types of horrific as situations and events. And so
Mhm.
for me, I make a conscious decision to prioritize my mental health and not dive deep into these things. I do think it's important to know these things and kind of know what's happening. But you know, it happens so frequently that I
Yeah.
think at times we get desensitized to it. And what I will also say too is that I did find myself the other night not being able to sleep and going down a rabbit hole on social media and just like following
Mhm.
things. And then there was a video from one of the police officers' body cameras that was showing them going into like onto the in the school and then going onto the level where the shots were fired. And I found it very interesting that they didn't show, and this was on a news channel, they didn't show like the actual shooting of them shooting the assailant. They just showed up until the point of you can hear the shots fired, and not
Oh.
shots fired from the police officer, but the shots fired from that person.
Online, they
And
showed
oh,
everything.
I didn't see that part,
Yeah,
but in the actual,
they released the
yeah,
whole thing, like her. I mean, oh, look at me. Them, them being shot, and and that's where I was like, I need to break from social media because we're now like. A lot of people are like, oh, let me search for the video. Let me look at the video. Oh my God. And then you're actually watching it. And there's so many different angles to the point where, again, they showed them shooting this person and shooting them several times and the body laid out, blurred face. But you see, when they shot the person, their leg went all the way. Like it was just, you could see the body on the ground. It was a lot.
I I also think that it's not often that you see a non-person of color being shot and displayed on social media in real life in this way.
Say
So if
that
that
again. I don't understand.
I have not seen non-black or non-persons of color being murdered by police officers on social media.
Okay.
I have not
That,
watched that, seen
that
that.
that's my point of the LGBTQ thing, right?
Right.
Is because now, like you said, like this is all LGBTQ people have mental issues and they need to, we need to watch out for them now. They're attacking. That was one of the reports. LGBTQ folks are attacking Christianity. I fucked that word up, but 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 they're like there's an attack on religion now, and it's like no, like we don't know, like it. The reports say that this shooter went to that school when they were younger. We don't know. That leaves the door open for a lot of speculation. I'm just saying, and I'm not defending anybody, but I'm just saying when I heard that, especially being a person who was sexually abused in school for 2 years, triggered. So I'm just saying.
I mean,
I'm
yeah.
just saying. so
Yeah.
so
I
and
think the
again,
other thing is too that
We
we
can't.
can't isolate this one situation
no, but that's what
because
they're doing though. That's what they're
no,
doing.
I do I
When
get
we
that.
when we
I
see
get that.
other mass shootings, we don't see another. We don't see the headline isn't another white man shoots black people,
Now,
another white man kills 20 people, another white man, like we don't hit, like, so why this whole transgender thing, and like that shit is frustrating.
yeah,
That shit is frustrating.
yeah,
But it's a hot topic right now, so I feel like in
It's not
this,
fair though. It's
it's
not
not
fair.
fair. It's not fair, but we have to be honest that especially the transgender community, there is a big hot topic right now. So it's like, okay, I'm not here to speak for the LGBTQ community. I can speak for me. Do we have to worry about some LGBTQ people? Yes, we do. Do we have to worry about some straight people? Yes, we do. We have to worry about people. There's people that's unmotherfucking stable. Like, period. I don't know. No, I don't subscribe to that. I ain't seen no videos. I just saw glimpses of this shit. I don't.
Mhm.
Mm-mm.
And I wanted to define. I needed a little bit more clarity on mass shooting, and what is textbook, right? How to define that. And it says, because when I heard like 130 mass shootings, I was like, I didn't see 130 reports, but okay.
But
So
there's
a
been a
mass
lot of
shooting,
reports.
yeah, but not 130, bitch. But but it says a mass shooting is a crime in which an attacker kills or injures multiple individuals simultaneously using a firearm. So they don't have to die. I mean, so yeah, it makes sense now. And you
Yeah, and
probably,
it can be two people, it can be three
yeah,
people.
Mhm.
Yeah,
exactly.
and I think the other, and I'm sure it also means that in a large space, right?
I was
So
gonna say
like you're
No,
where it
you're
takes
in,
place.
mm-mm.
right? I'm sure,
No, it doesn't say that.
Well, for it to
but
be
I mean,
multiple people, it has to
It
be
just
in
says
a
I could, but see,
because you can't have
the
one
way
without the
this is.
other.
but I imagine if you go into somebody's personal house and shoot three people, they're not going to call that a mass shooting.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know. USA, and here's another definition. USA defines a mass shooting as an incident where at least 4 people are hit with gunfire, even if there are no fatalities.
So there's several. So essentially, there's different definitions for what mass
Yeah,
shootings is.
right.
Got it. But I mean, again, because I mean, just logically thinking about this, if in
Yeah,
order for that to be the case, that means you would have to be in some place public where there's more people or majority or a lot of people in
it
a
says
situation.
right, and it says nothing about a place
Right.
in any
Yeah.
of the definitions.
I
It's
mean,
just
shit,
But
it
I
could
saying,
be
meant,
a backyard. It could be a cookout. But it's a gathering of people. It could be on a corner of a parade. It's a gathering of people. Like it
yeah.
could be it could be on a subway. It's a gathering of people. Like it's just it would have to be in a area where there's a gathering of people. Like I don't see how it could be one without the other. But that this whole shit was this is crazy.
I think people are gonna spin shit the way that they want to spin shit for their own agenda. That's just the way the fucking cookie crumbles, unfortunately. And the reality is this: that we need to, in this country, we need to really take action on shit that matters. And one of the things that fucking matter is the gun violence here in the
yeah,
fucking in America.
yeah.
And we can't sit here and I was watching something else again in my rabbit hole of social media, of surfing social media, that America, the U.S. State Department, develops a like human rights, like not agenda, but essentially like ranking countries in America, I mean, in the world around their human rights, right? And like how progressive or how they're doing with their human rights. And it's like, and it was interesting because this anchor out of India, Myanmar, particularly, was talking like how hypocritical of America. Number one, America is not in this report.
Mm,
So assessing America's human rights is not a part of this report. So the State Department assesses everybody else's human rights, but does not do their own.
mhm.
And this anchor was just talking about the hypocrisy of America, talking about other places and how they handle human rights and how they are mistreating their communities and their citizens, but yet pointing out things like the mass killings of black people, of people of color,
Mhm.
by police officers, right? These constant mass shootings, the gun violence, right? All of these other things, anti-LGBTQ laws that are happening, and so
Mhm.
it's like there's a sense of hypocrisy. America can't be sitting on a high horse thinking that we are, the saviors of the world, and like we're
Yeah.
this gold star of behavior and human rights, when the reality is we are not.
Mhm.
We are not. We are not the more progressive country when it comes to
Mhm.
human rights.
Yeah.
And so we need to sit our asses down and deal with the issues here at home
Yep.
before we utter another fucking word about another country and their fucking human rights. Like
Yeah.
that is just, it is hypocritical. We get all of this aid out to all of these other motherfucking countries to do work in all of these other countries, work that is needed. Don't get me wrong. This work is needed and aid is needed, and I get that. I support that. But there's no way you can tell me that you're willing to give $350 billion to a country to fight a war against another country who is their neighbors, but you don't want to invest that same amount of money in the school system, in education. You don't want to do that. You don't want to spend that money on any fucking thing. You know what I mean? Economic development, on housing, on a plethora of shit. We're literally living in a housing crisis in America. You don't want to use $380 billion to fund people, to take care of people, and make sure affordable housing is for everybody, that it literally is a human right. To make sure that there's no food deserts in America, that every kid and adult, a person can go and live and eat. Like, come on now. There really does need to be a come to Jesus irony in that statement around America, who says, in God we trust. But there needs to, and prioritization of Christianity over any other religion in America, because as much as we talk about there's a separation of church and state, there really isn't one. Ooh. So, but we need to have a real come to Jesus moment.
Absolutely.
And it's frustrating, and it's which is again why I don't like listening and like having these conversations, because it's just so fucking hypocritical. It's so disheartening, and it literally is disheartening and discouraging, especially as somebody who does this work on a daily basis. The fights that I have to have with people who don't understand, who don't get it, but do get it. But the reality is they don't want to change. They are okay with where things is.
You have to want to understand, know. And it's funny because you and I had that talk a few days ago about, people, a lot of these politicians and stuff. I'm not, this is not ageism, but, and I think we've said this on this podcast before, like a lot of the lawmakers are really like old and set in their ways, alive when the Civil Rights Act came along, and segregation and all that stuff. They like, it's sad. I do think that you do have to lean on, like we said on this podcast before, elections, and leaning on your county officials, your state officials. But I think we need to play defense. I saw a video on Instagram. This company, they are making like a panic room out of a classroom divider that is bulletproof. And I was like, oh my God, it's a shame that we have gotten to this. But we have to put something in place. And a lot of people in a lot of these towns pay a lot of taxes. And if you can't control gun laws, and if you can't control gun laws, then lean on your politicians to, put bulletproof glass, or, just, I don't know, something. Anywho, I'm nauseous now, but
Hey, listen, I had to go to this really quickly, because I think, and this, I may be incorrect in this, but I think one of the most devastating shootings that we've had is the Sandy Hook shooting, where you had 28 individuals dead, 2 injured. 20 of the victims were children between 6 and 7 years old. The others were adult staff. If that does not activate you to do something in America around guns, nothing fucking will.
Yep.
There is no way that anybody can say that you are okay with the fact that back in 2012, 11 years ago,
got chills,
that 28 fucking people died, 20 of whom are fucking children, and you aren't willing to do something about gun violence in America 10 years ago. I can guarantee you these 6 lives ain't going to make a fucking difference. And it's sad to say, but the reality is these 6 lives, these 3 lives that were children and these 3 lives that were adults is not going to change anything if in 2012, 28 deaths, 20 of which are kids between the ages of 6 and 7 years old.
Mhm.
Like that is I don't understand. And then we wanted to criticize, Obama when he was up there at the fucking, the thing, tearing up and crying about this shit.
Yep.
But yet shit still didn't get done. Nothing fucking happened. People are still, in fact, things probably likely that gun laws gotten more loose
Yeah.
than anything else since then. But everybody want to cry fake fucking crocodile tears when this shit happens and be in an uproar, but then get behind in their office and do nothing a fucking about it. And then want to talk about, Second Amendment. Second Amendment, my ass. We got fucking kids dying in schools, being killed in fucking classrooms over fucking guns. Like, come on. Like, this shit is crazy. But then we want to talk about how we are high and mighty and, it's human rights and we're this, first-class citizenship bullshit. Get the fuck out of here.
Yep.
And then people are going to be like, oh, my God, you're so anti-American and you're not a patriot and you're not all of this. Fuck that. Patriotism means nothing when we're not doing nothing to take care of our citizens.
Yep.
6 and 7 years old? Like, come on now. That's ridiculous. That's sad. That's fucking ridiculous.
Yep. Well, guys.
And a 20-year-old did that. A 20-year-old went into a fucking elementary school and killed 28 people, 20 of whom are fucking 6 and 7-year-old kids. Come on now.
Guys, let us know what you feel about this topic. I know it's a sad topic, but let us know how you feel. Call us, email us, 971-410-7111. Thanks for tuning in to Catch My Black and Gay podcast. Follow us on all social media platforms at Catch My Black and Gay.